Yes, welcome into IATD TV, and today I wanted to bring you 5 ban list hot takes. These are going to be 5 cards that I think can come off the ban list, probably each in isolation. I don't think we could have all 5 come off. That would probably be a bit too crazy, but I definitely wanted to give you an opinion on 5 cards that I thought could come off and might be controversial per se. So without anything further, here we go. Coming in at number 5, I think Thunder Dragon Colossus could come back to 3. Maybe 2, but I would prefer 3. I know people might object to that, but to what I would say to that is ever since it's got banned, the format's been kind of sucky. Droll and Lockbird has been a staple ever since, and ever since the card was banned, the threat of Thunder Dragon Colossus being able to just shut down cards to add deck from hand has diminished to nothing. Generally, I think decks were built differently. Now everybody's maining Droll and Lock because Colossus isn't in the mix. Next up, Yatagarasu. I think everything that enables this card to be banned is already banned. I don't think it would see much play. Yes, it would suck if the effect got pulled off against you, but it takes a lot more to pull that off now. You can't even use a Sangan or a Witch because they can't activate cards in the same turn. So it makes it even harder to use, and it probably could come back without causing any real problems to the format other than some niche frustrations. Next up, I think Mirage of Nightmare could come back to 1. Much like Yatagarasu, I think the cards that need to make it great are cards like MST and Emergency Provisions, unless you're using it to dump stuff into the graveyard. So, I think it could come back to 1 without hurting too much. I think it would allow control decks to see some more hand traps after they've set their fill, and I don't think it would be as great a boon to combo decks. So to have those cards in hand in the standby phase definitely helps a slower deck to be a bit more explosive, whereas I don't think it would help the combo decks as greatly. I think it's better for the format to have at least 1 Mirage of Nightmare. Next up for the controversy, I think Maxine could come back to 3. It either goes to 1 or 3, you can't have it at 2, but I think the ability to tax the special summon really needs to be in the game. I don't think Nibiru is quite a high enough price. I think the threat of Maxine plus Nibiru being in the game would be a justifiable penalty to special summoning. And the 5th card, as you can see, is Pot of Greed. I think that could come back to 2, and here's why. Firstly, Pot of Greed has been printed in every rarity, from common to rare to super to ultimate to secret rare. You can get a Pot of Green no matter what your budget is, and if it came back to 2, which I think is the correct number, everyone would have a chance to open it, but without seeing double in the same opening hand. You don't want to pot into pot. I do think that it wouldn't do anything to change the level of the power of the decks relative to each other. It would just change the consistency. If your deck's already top tier, it's going to make it more consistent. If it's rogue, it's going to make it more consistent, but it's going to be the same amount per deck, so it isn't going to change the power levels. I think if everybody has access to 2 Pot of Green, everybody's deck gets better by the same amount, and it just changes the amount of consistency. So I think for Yu-Gi-Oh! To continue to survive and thrive, it does need to speed up a little bit, maybe to compete with the other card games it could do with increasing its draw power. It's also an iconic card, and I think that people, as they can have access to it for a cheap amount, and would be worthy of coming back off the ban list. I think specifically to 2, I don't think 3. 3 means you can open 2, and that's not what I want to see from Pot of Greed. It makes just a bit too sacky if it goes to 1. So I think 2 would be a fair balance and round off the format quite nicely. So there we go with the ban list hot takes. I didn't take too much of your time, but just ran through a quick little discussion before we get the list, which will probably be this week. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the hot takes. Do you agree with any of them? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm ridiculous? Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends as well. And without anything further, this is IATD TV signing off. Peace out.